Okay. 3, 2, 1. It's Parallel Frequencies with just Blane and Coco and all the freaks out there. Coco, you know what? I don't usually jump ahead, but I am pumped for Freaky Friday this week.
Yeah.
Because I love responding to the comments. I mean, last Friday, Feature Friday, Freaky Friday, I told you beforehand, I was like, yeah, we'll just go through comments, 2-3 minutes, and then we'll get to the content, to our main show. We went like 18 minutes with just the comments.
Love hearing what you have to say. And I dare say many people are out there really excited for Friday, Freaky Friday, Feature Friday. We're all just looking forward to Friday.
I know. And I know it's only Wistful Wednesday right now, but I'm excited because I have seen some of the comments coming in from the freaks, and they're riding with us. Let's just say that. First of all, they're riding with us. They're on the same, at least playing with us, but the frequencies are different, and that's what we're here for. But the deep thought put into a lot of these comments, I'm loving. So keep those coming, freaks. We got a lot of comments on a clip that was just kind of sporadic. I just happened to find my Joker card. Remember this?
Mm-hmm.
Now you remember me talking about this
cards.
Finding random cards just out of their pack, and you thought it was wild. You were like, what? I've never heard of this, right? Tell us. Me and you are together.
Yeah.
And what did we see in a random place? I want you just to tell it and throw it out there, what we saw, and me give you that nudge. What did we see?
We were at Hearthside Games over here in, South Jordan, West Jordan, I think that they're technically in, but over here by us, where we're at. And we walked up, they were playing games, I think the World of Warcraft over there at the table, and tattoo on a guy's arm. I'm trying to remember which playing card it was. Ace of Diamonds? It
was an Ace of Diamonds on his. Now we're in a card shop, so I'm not gonna think, if I see cards, I'm not gonna think anything. But the way this one was presented to us, you knew it too, right? Like you saw this.
Yeah.
I nudged you. I'm like, hey, that's not normal.
That is how it works, right? I mean, I feel like when it's a omen, spiritual, maybe a little mystical, when it's like showing up in that way, I mean, a lot of people can just kind of dismiss it like, oh, coincidences, whatever, you're going to notice that more because you're looking for it. But there's a little something different about when it shows up and you're like, but this is in a totally unexpected way that this is showing up, right? And that's what you keep having with these playing cards.
Now, I'm going to add to the mystery a little bit. Now, my wife and I, we were in a vintage record shop over the weekend, okay? And I'm just browsing around, and I find this. I didn't buy these. Maybe I should have. But if you look, there's the Queen of clubs and a Jack of clubs. And whatever they used for, they were random. One of them was just a price tag, and the other one was just laying there. And I looked all over this store, and that was the only two cards in there. What does this mean, Coco?
Yeah, I wanted to look it up and see what other people said about it. But before I say that, I want to ask you, when you think of playing cards in general, when you just think of that, what word comes to your mind? What meaning does it have for you? Is there anyone you specifically associate with playing cards, or you're like, oh, it always reminds me of?
No.
You don't have anything that pops up like that?
No, not necessarily. But I was always a good poker player. I just don't like doing it. I was a great poker player. I have a wild theory before you tell me what it actually is.
Okay.
Because I hope I'm wrong.
Oh, okay.
We started out with the Joker, and then we got an Ace of Diamonds, and then we got a Queen of Clubs and a Jack of Clubs. We skipped the King. I hope to God it's not counting down to something awful, like my demise, my doom, my death.
Well,
or maybe I'm putting together, maybe I've got to put a full deck of cards together before the end of my life. That's a movie in itself.
Then you got time. Yeah. You'll be fine. Well, is that, I don't know poker well enough to know, is that a hand that you would want?
I mean, well, a joker would not be in the
Oh yeah.
poker
Oh yeah.
game,
Of course.
but I mean, the high cards, yeah, sure. Ace, queen, and a
You're
jack.
like, I'm putting together something that's going to be kind of helpful and useful. I mean, it is the sign of good fortune. I think that in general, the idea is that it's, taking risks, seeing what life has planned for you, and then like seeing the cards come up like that are kind of like you're on the right path. You're whatever it is that you're doing, whatever you're taking a chance on, you're on the right path. So
Okay.
that's far more hopeful than a countdown, I think.
You had I got myself psyched out, I think, because I'm looking at it like, oh my God, I'm finding cards, it's counting down. Like, what happens at the end? What happens when I get the 2? Or is the ace the beginning or the end? I guess it goes both ways. Ace is
I know
high,
nobody
ace is
knows
low.
the rules to this game.
Yeah.
You're like, wait, our ace is high? What's happening?
I'm
Someone
making the
tell
game,
me.
making the rules as we go. It's my own game, I guess. Speaking of games.
And that's kind of the point, right? That's
Yeah,
why I
it
asked
is.
you what your meaning was to it, because the intention of the meaning you put to it is really what matters more than, a Google search that says like, this is what cards mean. I think that there's a lot of cool theories out there, a lot of like, this is culturally what we associate with these omen signs, things like that. But especially when I do dream interpretation sessions with clients, I'll be like, okay, let's break it down. It's kind of like Mad Libs. We're like, okay, you saw an episode of Practically Magic where I did a dream interpretation and I said, okay, well, what does whales, what does that mean to you? I can tell you what culturally whales mean, but what does it feel like to you? And then we go from there. So I think it's all about intention.
All right.
I think it's the right path, not the countdown.
So don't treat it nefariously, and it won't.
It won't be.
Yeah. Okay. I love that. I can play that game. It's Wistful Wednesday, and we are talking about a game, and that's pretty broad. But we've already teased this. I got the LA hat on. It's opening day of Major League Baseball, and Coco just happened to schedule a league of their own. And I love this movie. And it's the 1992 Penny Marshall masterpiece that somehow convinced an entire generation that women's baseball was the coolest damn thing ever.
I know.
And here's the thing. It was. It really was. This movie came out when I was a kid. I remember watching it thinking, is this a sports movie? Or is it just a movie about everything? And that's really what it came down to, is family, identity, what it costs to be great when the world doesn't want you to be. And that's what happens to these women. Dottie, May, Kit, all of them, played by an incredible
Doris.
cast. Yeah, right? But I'm so glad that you put this on the docket because, well, first of all, I mean, who doesn't want to see Tom Hanks peeing for like 47 seconds? Right? That's
my kids thought that was hilarious.
I bet they did.
You
I did
watched
too.
it, yeah.
Growing up, I thought that was great. But yeah, this is the movie for today for Wistful Wednesday, A League of Their Own. We're going to break it down. We're going to tell you why this movie still hits, why it got some stuff right, why it fumbled others, and why the final scene will destroy anybody. Coco, what's your thoughts, though, right off the top from A League of Their Own?
I've watched this movie. I mean, this is probably one of that movie that comes on TV or it just happens to be playing or you come across it as you're doing that whole Netflix scroll date night thing. You know how you guys like go, oh, we're going to watch a movie, but then you just scroll forever. Anytime it comes up, I mean, I've seen it hundreds of times over my lifetime. And it's so interesting how each phase of my life, there's a completely different focus or focal point that I take from it. As a kid, the whole women playing baseball, look what women can do. We can be just as good and just as exciting as men playing baseball in a time when the men were going off to war and the women stepped up and Rosie the Riveter and all of that stuff was, proving women could do it. And as a little girl, loved that part, was like, yeah, girls can do it too. We can do anything, and wanting to prove myself. I was not athletic whatsoever.
Yeah.
But you better believe that I set up pretend bases in my living room and pretended athletic really well. Like I was sliding into home and, I wanted to believe I could be one of those really athletic people that could sacrifice their body for the game. I'm not, by the way, not
No?
even a little bit. I've played real games and I'm the one hiding in the back of the field, just like hoping the ball doesn't come to me. That's more like my style. I did cross country because you didn't have to try out. You didn't have to do anything. You just ran.
You had to show up and run.
Yeah. So
You like
that was more my speed.
Yeah.
But I
no
loved
coaching.
the idea. I loved the idea of it. And then as I got older, this idea of like, this isn't a baseball movie at all. Yeah, sure. Like the central plot and the setting of it is baseball, but it's really about allowing people to have the American dream.
Yeah.
What is the American dream really? And is it really just applicable to a certain demographic, or is it applicable to, are we allowing it for women? Are we allowing it for people of color? It's about these women who love baseball just as much as men love playing baseball and getting their chance to do it. I mean, look at the difference between Kit and Dottie, right? Shows
Absolutely.
perfect.
And let's set this thing up with the context and the cultural moment that it was. I remember watching this movie when I was younger in 1992. We won't say the actual age. I remember watching it. I don't think I ever looked at it as a women empowerment or women playing baseball. I thought it was a baseball movie. I loved baseball. I was a huge baseball player. Anything that was baseball related, you better believe I was going to watch it, whether it was A League of Their Own, Rookie of the Year, Sandlot. I mean, any of these were legends to me just because it was baseball. And that was my generic language. It was baseball. So I didn't care that the fact that they were women or any of that. I was going to watch it anyway and enjoy it. Later on is when I started realizing, as I've watched it many times growing up, it did start hitting a little bit different. But let's set the scene, because 1992, you got Penny Marshall, who was already a legend for Big, decides to make a movie about the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League. On paper, it sounds like a flop. You didn't have women's sports. Today, they still struggle. 2026, they still struggle.
Yep. Still a huge pay gap and respect gap.
Even in the WNBA, when you've got superstars, and I'm talking global stars like a Caitlin Clark that has put WNBA in, and say what you want about her, think whatever, but I don't care what you say. Without her, the WNBA's not doing, they're not getting private jets. They're not getting a pay raise. They're not getting national TV exposure. So it still struggles today. So in 92, you put this on paper and it sounds like a flop, honestly. Minus the cast, Tom Hanks, Geena Davis, Madonna, Rosie O'Donnell, goes on and on. We'll talk about them. But really, until this movie, you didn't see anything like this, especially something that was basically made for a forgotten part of history, because it does kind of double as a historical, reference here for what's going on. It's not a dry documentary with a very special TV movie. It's not one of those, but it is paying homage to the professional baseball players that were playing.
And in general, all the women, and when they stepped in to professional roles. And I love that conversation that he has with, who was Gary Marshall.
Yeah.
Penny's brother was playing the Walter Harvey, and Ira Lowenstein and him are having a conversation about shutting down the league. The war is almost over. He's like, well, what are these women supposed to do? All these women that stepped in to run the country, to step into the factories, to do the work. And the men come home from war, and what are they supposed to do? Go back to the kitchens? And he's like, well, do you expect the men coming back from war to go back to the kitchen? I mean, come on, be serious. I mean, it really kind of took what was going on in the baseball world, which is just this small microcosm of the whole picture. What were we really looking at as women's equality and feminism and the shift that was happening in our country at the time, right?
Incredible time. I mean, like you said, it was during World War II that this league did take place in the real world. I don't think that it was historically accurate, but this is definitely paying homage. But like I said, on paper, who would have greenlit this? But with the cast, and let's get to the cast and that chemistry, because that's what made this movie and sold this movie.
My gosh.
Absolute stacked cast. Geena Davis as Dottie, which, by the way, we're going to play a Geena Davis exclusive interview at the end of this. So stick around for that. We got Geena Davis at FanX. I'm going to talk about the host who did this interview with her as well, because we got to drop some of that. But Geena Davis, the catcher, the natural, the reluctant star is what she is. And MLB, Major League Baseball, they still have all of this today. They have every one of these characters, I would say, maybe, is somebody in that league right now. You can watch this movie and pick somebody from every team, probably. So Lori is Kit Keller, Lori Petty. That's the younger sister, the scrappy pitcher. Madonna. And it's wild because I rewatched this and I forgot Madonna was even in it.
Oh my gosh. And isn't that insane? Because they put her as kind of like a draw, right? They're like, Madonna's getting into acting. She's a big name, big pop star. We all know who she is.
Yeah.
And people, there was some criticism too about that, because they were like, is this going to be like another Elvis kind of thing where you get somebody that big and then you just throw them into a movie and the movie's terrible, but like Elvis is in it, so people go see it. And I'm so happy to report that's not how it was, other than it was very awkward for almost the entire cast to have Madonna on set. There was reports of people being like, I just didn't know how to talk to her.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to call her. Do I call her Madonna? I don't know. The only one that was really comfortable with Madonna was Rosie O'Donnell. So they got to be close friends, and that's great. But yeah, big name. And if you look at like the original poster, she's kind of like front and center there with Tom Hanks and Geena Davis.
Yeah.
It's like, and also Madonna.
I mean, Madonna was one. I mean, she still is, but she was at the time one of the biggest known names there was. And still is today. But it's hard to do that. And I did hear about some of the cast going through that stuff. There was even in between takes during the World Series filming thing that the rest of the actors would do performances for the unpaid extras.
Yeah.
But Madonna would not come out and sing a song. So what the actors did were started singing Madonna's songs for her. And I thought that was great. But
Rosie O'Donnell did, I think, too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Tom Hanks would do puppet shows from the dugout for the extra while they were between takes. Yeah.
Which is incredible. But you got Madonna. Rosie O'Donnell plays Doris, the heart of the team, the trash talker. She's that ride or die. And everybody's got one of them on their team as well. Tom Hanks, we've already mentioned him multiple times. Jimmy Dugan.
Obviously.
The washed up former slugger, shows up drunk, but leaves a legend, really. And the cast works because it feels like a real team.
Yeah.
Not just the actors playing parts. They went through actual baseball boot camp together. That's tough. I've done that many, many times playing for all different leagues. And you will find out who's real real quick. And you become real tight. I mean, it's like not
boot camp.
Yeah. Boot camp.
But did you have to go to charm school and learn how to be a upstanding gentleman in society as well as being trained to play baseball? Because that was hilarious to me. Hilarious and not funny. But it was like, hey, why don't we just do the same thing for the men on the men's team? Put them through gentleman's school. In fact, let's do that with all men across sports everywhere and just be like, hey, this is how you treat a lady. This is what consent is. I mean, let's just kind of do some general gentlemanly training. Could we do that?
I don't have a problem with it.
Good.
No problem.
It's settled then.
No problem from Just Blane here. And I don't know if I'm the official spokesman for all men and men playing sports, but sure.
You are in this realm, so yeah.
I think so.
I'll count it.
Let's talk about some of the scenes in this movie, because there's a lot of iconic moments. Yes. I mean, the tryouts, the Are You Crying?
Are You Crying?
That's a big one early in the film. You know, you get this amazing scene, and it kind of sets it. And you're like, all right, this is going to be special. This is going to be wild. And It's farms and small towns across the Midwest and women showing up to prove they can play. And here's the, are you crying? There's no crying in baseball.
Yeah. Raise your hand, freaks, if anyone's actually used that in their real life. When I was a teacher, we used to do, I'm going to give a shout out to my, my teacher friend, Robin, out there. If she's listening, Robin, Mrs. Miller, she was my teacher next to me next door. And, I mean, we would do it jokingly, not when it was a really serious situation, but we would go, there's no crying in third grade. As teachers, you know, we'd be like, no, are you crying? No, there's no crying in second grade. We would use that all the time as teachers. It was fun.
I love it. It's Tom Hanks, and it was the tryouts, and it led to the there's no crying in baseball, but he's the coach, and he's still hungover, basically useless at this point. And he finally loses it on Evelyn. And that's when it is. That's when it happens. She starts crying.
So sensitive.
And he goes, are you crying? There's no crying in baseball. And yes, we have used this line a million times. It's been quoted, misquoted, all those kinds of things. And it's funny. It's iconic. It's sad all at the same time. It's all these things.
Yeah, there's so much heart to it. One of the scenes that gets me every time, and I think I cry every time I see it. And like I said, I've seen this movie hundreds of times. I know it's coming. But the tryout scene, they list all the names on the board, and you know, they're like, if you've been cut, you leave the field. If you're in, go to get with your team, whatever. And everyone's sitting down. There's that one woman standing there at the board, and he's kind of like, are you cut? If you're cut, you gotta go. Like, he's trying to like move her along, and she's just pacing and nervously twitching, you know, fidgeting, and the other woman runs up and says, "Can you read, honey?" And she's like, no. Mm-hmm. And so they find her name together, and her name is on it. And she's so excited and so happy. I cry every time. She just couldn't read. She just needed some help. And then they teach her how to read throughout the rest of the movie. You see Madonna's character, May, is teaching how to read with some smut.
Yeah.
Later, and it's a hilarious moment. She's like, what is she reading? No.
I love that it makes the viewer at home cry, and you got crying on screen, but you've got Tom Hanks, coach, really playing and setting up this macho tough guy thing about how crying is basically showing weakness. What happens later in the film is something that I love, and it's him crying when he finds out that the league is getting shut down. And that's when we see that crying is not weakness, but it's showing that you care. Yeah. And they care. Coach, players, all of them, they care so much that it hurts. And I think that's a huge just theme of the whole movie right there. That you said it, the fact that the viewers at home are already crying too. Maybe not the men, but we're macho with Tom Hanks at this point. And not by the end, because if they shut this league down, like, yes, that's heartbreaking to everybody involved, because you see what they've done. You see what they've put together and went through to get it together, you know? So I think that's a powerful opening early on. That's more than one scene, but I do. And you just go through a bunch of heartache in this. When Kit gets traded, think about that.
Yeah. The sister dynamic. I am one of two. I have a sister.
Yeah.
And the sister dynamic and the relationship there, it's very real, very personal. Because sometimes the person you love the most and the person who's closest to you grew up together, you know each other better than anyone. And it can also be the most sensitive, the most prickly, if anyone else on that team was a big star and getting all the attention and really like rocking it as a player, Kit would not have felt so personal about it. Mm-hmm. But she felt the living in the shadow of her sister her whole life in more ways than just baseball, probably. I'm guessing. Just because acting was pretty good. The acting was good.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we know there's like a backstory to that. The feeling behind it is, I want to shine on my own. I want to show up. I want people to know that I'm here for it and I'm a good player and I have held my own here and not just Dottie's kid sister all the time forever. You feel that.
And let's get to the final game, the slide. Because after she's traded, they end up in the championship game. It's Dottie's team versus Kit's team. It's tied, bottom of the ninth. Kit's up to bat. Dottie's catching. Kit hits a line drive, rounds third, barrels towards home. Dottie has the ball. Kit destroys her. The ball flies loose. Kit scores. Her team wins. And here's the debate that has raged for 30 plus years. Did Dottie drop the ball on purpose?
Yeah.
Some say she did.
She's the one that said, it's just a game. It's just a game to me.
Some say yeah, because she saw her sister coming, saw the hunger, and let her have the moment. She knew what she'd been through. But some say no, Kit just hit her harder. She wanted it more. I don't know which boat I'm in. Which one are you in? Do you think?
I don't know that it matters, I guess, is where I come back to is, if she let it go on purpose, that would mean Kit didn't earn it on her own, and that wouldn't have resolved anything. I think that if whether she did or she didn't, we can accept and embrace that Kit did this herself so that Kit can have it. Like, she can have that moment. She can be like, I did it. I'm a real professional ball player. I won. I did it. I'm on my own doing this. I didn't have to be handed it. I didn't have to be allowed it. I just have it. It's just mine.
I love that.
That's where I'm at with that.
I love that take. And then we get to see the Hall of Fame reunion too. The older people. Them as older. I love that scene.
Can I just say, okay, so Lynn Cartwright playing the older Dottie. When I was a kid, so of course this is 1992. This is before, we have any kind of technology and CGI and anything like that to make someone look older. They were using makeup and special effects and things like that to age people, but they opted in this movie to get other actors to play the younger parts. And when I was a kid, granted I was 7 or 8 years old, so this is, thinking from a 7 and 8 year old perspective, I was like, did they actually wait until those other actors were old? Because Lynn Cartwright playing the older Geena Davis, I thought they were the same person. As a kid, I was like, this is insane. This is them as an older version of that. I don't know if I could say that quite as closely with all the other actors. I mean, it was a great fit. This is why casting is such an important role in movie making. I'm so glad they added that category in the Oscars this year. Now we have a casting director can win an Oscar, but I was like, the casting on that was just right, because I was like, I think they just filmed all that other stuff many, many years ago, and now they're just filming this part now, in my mind.
That's great filmmaking right there. And Lynn Cartwright, let me tell you, in some B movie, maybe even C movie classics, The Wasp Woman, and she was the Queen of Outer Space. Fantastic. Some legendary flicks there. We might have to break those down one of these days. That'd be fun.
Yeah. Now, I think they did use Geena Davis's voice so that it matched. Which was a good call, because it really messed with my little head when I was a kid. I was like, whoa.
Right.
What?
Right.
Now, what I'd like to see is they just refilm all the older scenes with the same actors now, and then just plug that into the movie. I think that would blow my mind.
I mean, they got AI too. They could mess with if they needed to, but they don't even have to. I don't even think they have to these days. But.
Yeah, let's just go get Rosie O'Donnell and Madonna and yeah, let's just get Geena Davis. Let's have them all play. They just refilm. They can have it set in the 90s, but they can just refilm those older parts and have them do the whole coming back to the Hall of Fame reunion part at the end of the movie.
We didn't even mention the iconic "If you build it, they will come." That's an easy one. I mean, that's an easy one. I love that too, and I've used that in many things in my life. I mean, who hasn't?
We're all doing that a little bit.
Parallel
Forever.
frequencies is built on that right there. It's built on that thought alone.
Yes.
If you
We're
build it,
building
it will
it.
come.
The freaks will come.
Yeah.
That's what we're hoping for.
I got to talk about one thing that they fumbled with this movie.
Okay.
The movie's very white.
Mm-hmm.
The league that they're representing was segregated. Black women were not allowed to play, and the movie just doesn't address it.
Well, there's that one scene where they have a fly ball that, is that what it's called? Fly ball? I don't even know.
Fly ball, yeah.
But the ball that goes somewhere it's not supposed to go, towards the fence, and there's a group of black women standing there, and
Yep.
they catch the ball and they throw it back, and they're like, whoa, when they throw it, you know, it's a good throw, and they're like, whoa, and they just give a nod, like,
Yeah.
we're here too. Don't forget about us, right?
Yeah.
So that one little scene.
I think there's one more moment where maybe that's the same one where in the tryout scene. Is that the tryout scene or another one? Because there's a black woman in that and she gets told it's a whites only league. But that's it. There's no follow-up. There's no critique. There's no reckoning.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I get it. Penny Marshall was trying to make a commercial hit, not a comprehensive history lesson. But that omission matters to me. Leaving that out kind of matters. It flattens the story a little bit and does what we've said in the past, you know, it erases some of those voices of women who are fighting the same fight, but weren't even allowed in that door. So
no, they weren't. Yeah. I mean, this is, you know, when I started playing this for my kids, it just so happened my kids are learning about Jackie Robinson at school.
Yeah.
And so we're talking about, like, you know, the first introduction to desegregating baseball and allowing white people, black people, and people of color to play together. That conversation is definitely a part of that, even more so than just having a league that was for women.
Jackie Robinson, number 42. That's why you don't see people wear their number 42 out there. It's retired because he broke down the barriers and he was a hell of a player. People don't even
held
talk
his
about
own.
it. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they did address this situation in the Amazon series in 2022 when they did A League of Their Own. We won't go into that right now because we're just talking about the 1992 movie. But they did bring it back to that. But this movie to me is going to stand the test of time. There's so many moments in there. Even if baseball goes away forever at some point, it's America's pastime. I don't think it will unless we lose America. And who knows on that at the moment. But, yeah, let that simmer for a second, right? But
I'm like,
if baseball goes away, this movie's still got the themes of life that you need, that you got to take. You got to get some of these things and take them. And Geena Davis, before we get to her, I want to get your final thoughts on A League of Their Own.
Yeah. I always like to pick a scene that just kind of like, if, in my opinion, what is the scene that shows what we're trying to relay in this movie? Like, what is it that we're showing? And I'm going to pick a scene that is not as widely known. People are not going to think of A League of Their Own and think of this scene. I want you to think about the scene when Doris is talking to a group of players. I think Betty Spaghetti is sitting next to her. And they're kind of just on the tour bus. It's like nighttime. They're traveling between games. They're just chatting. And Doris, Rosie O'Donnell, has a picture of her boyfriend, Charlie. And they're like, oh, is this your boyfriend? And she's like, yeah, he's stupid. He treats me bad. You know, whatever. And they're like, well, then why? And she's like, why? I just never thought I deserved anything better. And in that moment, she realizes, well, wait a minute. I'm out here playing professional baseball. I'm pretty freaking awesome. I do deserve better than someone who just treats me bad. I'm not going to go home and marry a guy just because he's there and just because he's my only option or I thought he was my only option. I mean, you see it play out in her head, the subtext of this. And she's like, yeah, I guess I just, you know, before this, I never thought I deserved better than this. Mm-hmm. And then she rips up the picture of Charlie and she throws it out the window and says, goodbye, Charlie. And I want to highlight that scene because when we empower women to be able to go into spaces like baseball or the professional world or whatever it is, and I know the fight in this country is very much like put women back in their place in the kitchen, raising kids and whatever. What actually happens, the effect of that is, what do we control women like that? What message are we giving them? That they only deserve what man will have them? A man who potentially will treat them bad, who's stupid, stupid, ugly, and treats me bad, I think is what she says. But I think that really, really is something to look at, is like, she got an opportunity to see herself as powerful, as capable, as smart. And then Charlie don't look so good no more, right? She's like, maybe I don't need this guy. Maybe I don't need this guy for that. So that's my takeaway on A League of Their Own.
Very powerful. I love it. I love Wistful Wednesdays. People love this. The freaks out there are loving this. We did Alien last week. People love that one. That's one of our most watched. I think this one might pass that for the freaks. I think they're going to enjoy this. And what we're going to do now is play an interview, an exclusive interview, never before seen interview with Geena Davis from FanX, right? And let me set this thing up. This was FanX 2024. And the way we've talked about this before, and the way we get access to these superstars and these celebrities and these people who are world known, famous, the most famous, is through Promise to Live. And that's a suicide prevention, suicide awareness organization. We've been working with them for a couple of years. Ride the Wave Media has been with them, partnered with them. And we go to these events and we tell them why we're there. So I want people to know that when we ask questions about suicide to these celebrities, it's not just, boom, we drop this bomb on them. No. They know what they're going to talk to us for. And they are very willing to give messages of hope to people who need it. 988, that's the number you can call if you have any of these feelings, thoughts. We're not professionals. Call the professionals.
Yep.
This interview, I got to tell you, though, because I was working with another co-host, not Coco. It was Bex Nielsen, who
Bex
is one of the most genuine and authentic real estate agents. And I know some of that right there sounds contradictory, but I promise you, she is.
She's the best.
It's like saying an honest lawyer or something, you know, but she is. She's a genuine, authentic real estate. She sold me my house, and she lives one straight up from me. We're in the same neighborhood. We started a podcast together. We were doing Radio Daybreak together. The next thing you know, she goes from never having a microphone in her face to doing this podcast with me and being in front of a bunch of celebrities. We went to do a red carpet, same one me and Coco have done. Same organization, Promise to Live.
She's the OG.
Yeah, OG. She's the OG. So we were at FanX 2024, and this is her first time being around any of these big names. And at my stage in my career, it's no big deal. I'm like, all right, let's go talk to Billy Boyd, and let's go hit my buddy Logic over here, the rapper, and then let's go see Peter Billingsley from A Christmas Story. You know, I'm like, no big deal. So fast forward, and Geena Davis agrees to talk to us. Well, I'm nowhere to be found because I'm off chatting it up with Jonathan Frakes from Star Trek, right? And Bex is like, so what do I do? What do I do? And I'm like, well, you can handle it. You can talk to Geena Davis by yourself. So she gets thrown on the spot, and being the pure professional she is, rocked it. And we're going to play that interview, but I got to set Bex up because, wonderful, incredible real estate agent. And just, like I said, you know her. Say a couple nice words about her because she's going to see this. So
she's all about community. That's my favorite thing about Bex, is she is in the community, interviewing, talking to people. She wants to know what businesses and different people are doing in the community, people who volunteer. That's what she's all about.
So let's go ahead and play this interview exclusive with Geena Davis.
Thanks, guys. So here with Geena Davis this morning. So thank you, Geena, so much for joining us. And wanted to ask you, I just was saying, I don't know where to start with you. You've done so many things. Oscar winner. Let's start here. We're here at FanX. Tell us about what's your favorite thing meeting your fans.
I just started doing these this year. As soon as they're ended, had done one and convinced me and said, you'll see how much fun it is. And it's so much fun. It's really great. Everybody's so nice and excited and get to meet a lot of people in here. You know, what impacted them or moved them and delighted them. And it's really fun.
Oh, good. I'm so glad you're having a great time. Have you been to Salt Lake City much?
Yes, I have. A lot.
Yeah. Have you done a lot of filming here?
Well, we shot a lot of Thelma Louise.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that. So what was kind of one of your favorite things about Thelma and Louise, or, you know, maybe something your fans don't know about the behind the scenes shooting with that role?
Oh, that's interesting. I mean, there was such gorgeous, all that gorgeous scenery in the movie where we're just driving around. It was shot
just
here.
beautiful.
It was amazing, and we recreated the Grand Canyon here. You know, specifically the Grand Canyon. But there's I don't know what happened to we sent. They might have sent 3 cars off the cliff with full mannequins of us in the clothes.
Just going over that cliff.
Just going over the cliff, yeah.
Wow.
It was weird when we were getting ready. Yeah, in the mornings, there'd be these models of us sitting around and they're putting makeup on and everything. Oh my God. But that was fun.
So were you privy to watching that go over the cliff? Were you there?
Yeah, I was there. I wanted to see what that was like. And the first one that went off the cliff, they designed this whole rig to make you go off, and it kind of went like that.
Oh.
And it was like, oh, no, you don't want to.
You're like, let's keep that straight. Because that's such an iconic scene to that movie, right? With that car going over there. Well, we are also here with Promise to Live. We know you do a lot of advocacy work, especially gender equality in your industry.
Right.
So I'd like you to speak just a little bit to that, and then let's have you answer that actually for us first.
Yeah. So partly it started after having been in Thelma Louise and seeing the reaction to the movie, and it made me realize in a very powerful way how few opportunities women get to come out of a movie feeling inspired by the female characters.
Right.
So it became really paramount in my mind. So then when I had a daughter and I started watching kids programming with her, I was like, oh, wait a minute.
Where are they?
We're still leaving out, even from little kids. It wasn't equal characters, so that got me started on the whole thing. And so what I advocate for is gender parity on screen, particularly in what's made for little kids, because we judge our value by seeing ourselves reflected in the culture. And if you don't see yourself, you get the message.
Right. Well, I think it's beautiful what you're doing with that. And so, yes, I definitely wanted to speak to that. And then also Promise to Live. So we are an organization focused on suicide prevention and awareness, mental health. You have had a tremendous career in this industry. How have you dealt with the pressure and the struggles that may come along with that?
Well, the biggest struggle in my particular industry, I mean, I'm so blessed, obviously, but it's hard not to know when your next job is going along or what's going to happen. And so that's, but like I said, I couldn't possibly complain about how everything's going.
Yeah. So I would assume there's a lot of high and lows, rejection of roles, things like that. So any messages of hope for fans who may be going through some similar high and lows and some struggles currently in their lives?
Oh, boy. We're getting deep.
Yeah.
I always feel like my sort of philosophy and approach to life is that things will always work out.
Love
and,
it.
Sometimes it's hard to keep that in mind, but that eventually things will work out. And I find keeping a positive attitude about that as much as you can.
For sure.
I mean, certainly some people believe that you draw to you what you're thinking about.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Geena Davis.
She's amazing.
You saw Dottie behind her in the background.
Yeah.
I love that.
Perfect for our topic today.
Bex didn't know, 2 years ago that we were going to be talking about A League of Their Own today. So she was asking about Thelma Louise, but that one hits hard too.
Yeah. And I just love that Geena Davis is so such an advocate for the gender equality, and that's kind of her platform. And I think that's perfect because, I mean, if nothing else, that's what I get from A League of Their Own.
Yeah, absolutely. And once again, promisetolive.org. Go make the promise right now. Mm-hmm. Make the promise to live. It's important. Mental health is important. And there'll be people out there in the comments seeing this and they'll be like, oh, he's a snowflake or whatever they call him. No. Get that macho attitude out of here. Like, we got to take care of one another and be able to say that we're not okay.
Yeah, well, I love that the people who usually say something about being a snowflake are usually the people who are going to flat out destroy a television over a game that they're watching or something like that. If you don't have control of your emotions have control over you. So I don't think there's anything snowflake about that.
You see my LA Dodger hat. I might destroy a TV tomorrow if they lose the opening day. No, I'm kidding, but you're absolutely correct. Once again, go to promisetolive.org. That's going to be it. That's a heavy way to end it right here. But this is real life. We like to, like Geena Davis said, reflect, be a mirror. And that's what we're trying to do here with Parallel Frequencies. I'm just Blane. That's Coco. You're the Freqs. We love you guys. And we'll see you on the other side.
See ya.